Welcome to Unshackled, a podcast for ambitious strivers who know that our lives and our time here are precious. We overcome the habits that bind us and boldly go after our dreams. I'm your host, Becca, and I've overcome my addictions and reinvented myself more than once, and I know how to help you do the same. If you're ready to up your game by ridding yourself of useless addictions, if you're ready to unshackle yourself, then you've come to the right place. Let's get to it. Hey there, welcome to day 5. Thanks for joining me. I got a quote for you. This quote comes from Earl Nightingale, and the quote says, "Happiness is the progressive realization of a worthy goal." Happiness is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. You know, I'm not sure I would have thought much about that in the past. But as I was striving, I don't know about striving, but desperately wanting, I guess is the word, some peace in my life in the past. I was even afraid to use the word happiness because I just thought, well, let's not shoot for the moon, Becca. You're never going to be happy, because alcohol was always a struggle with me. And that just makes your life very unhappy. So, one word that would come to mind, especially when I would wake up in the morning and open my eyes, and the first thing that would happen was a flood into my mind of regret and shame, and and I remember thinking on many mornings like that, just if I could just wake up not feeling like I failed again and again and again. It was a very difficult way to live. And I really did wonder what happiness, like first of all, what does it feel like to be happy? And how do you get it? I mean, we all want happiness. It's what we're all striving for. We're all looking for it in different ways, but ultimately that's what we're after, right? And so it wasn't until after I got sober, about a year into my sobriety, I think it was. One day I was walking along with my dog, doo-dee-doo-dee-doo, and all of a sudden the thought hit me, wait a minute, I'm happy. I remember being and I thought, wait, really? You're kidding me. And I had to really think that, and I thought, yeah, that's what this is. I feel happy. I couldn't even quite understand it was such a new, I was shocked. And then I started thinking, well, how did I get here? How did I get, why, of course, got to analyze the heck out of it, right? I never did quite figure it out. But when I came across this quote from Earl Nightingale, happiness is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. Yeah. That's all it was. It wasn't that, I was still doing things, my diet wasn't where I wanted it to be. My finances were still a mess. I had relationships that I had to rebuild because, I had drank so much. We leave behind a trail of destruction when we drink as much as I did, right? So there was a lot wrong with my life, but I felt this strange feeling of happiness. And this quote explains it. It's because I had progressively realized a worthy goal, and that goal was sobriety. And it wasn't smooth and it wasn't clean. I didn't say one day, I'm going to quit drinking, and a year later felt happy. I started, stopped. It was very difficult for me to quit drinking because it was just such a lifelong ingrained habit. But that quote, it very clearly defines, I would argue, why I felt happy that day. It was the progressive realization of a worthy goal. And so I wanted to share that with you today. Look, whatever you're aiming for in this new year, whether you're giving up alcohol or something else, whatever you're shooting for in your life, it's probably not going to be smooth and clean and just nice and okay. One day you're there, one day you're not, one next day there's going to be struggle. There's going to be ups, downs, failures, ins, outs, and roundabouts. And that's what life is like, right? But I want to tell you that if you don't give up, If you have a very clear goal, you know what you want, and you don't give up, even if you make mistakes and get pushed back a bit and fall down, you got to get back up. Don't let that discourage you. Just start again. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. And the only way to fail is to quit. And so whatever it is you're striving for, hopefully you're giving up alcohol, especially if it's a problem in your life. But even if it's not a huge problem, I suggest that I believe that alcohol-free living is the pinnacle of freedom. And I'll talk a lot more about that in the coming days, weeks, and months, because it's well, I'm not going to talk about it now, but believe me, it's worth it to quit drinking. But if you just keep trying whatever it is you're working on, you'll suddenly be walking along one day and you'll go, hey, wait, what's this feeling? And you'll realize that it's this inner sense of happiness, of satisfaction, and you'll realize it's because you have progressively been realizing a worthy goal. And of course, we're never at the end. It's not like we reach the finish line, go, there, I got it. We're always striving, or we should be. If you're not striving for something, your life will be empty, very empty. I actually met a woman. I shouldn't say just met her. I know a woman. I've known her for 6 years, but we met up about a month ago to go for a walk together. And we were walking along and I was telling her, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And she suddenly turned to me and said, yeah, you know, Becca, I'm just not ambitious. Because I was asking her, well, what are you up to? What you got going on? And I'm telling, whenever someone asks me that, it's always about what I'm striving for. Because to me, that's what life is about. I'm a striver. Always striving for something. So I was sharing with her what I was striving for. And when I asked her, you know, what about you? What are you up to? And her response was, Becca, I'm just not ambitious. And I was a little bit shocked. I didn't say anything, but I remember thinking, how sad is that? And so I asked her, okay, well, what you been up to? And she described her life and it sounded incredibly dull to me. She's, well, you know, I just live my life. I mean, if she's happy, that's fine, you know, but I somehow doubt it. I somehow doubt it. I mean, how can we, besides that, we all know, and if we don't know, we should know, that if we're not moving forward, we're going backward, because guess what? We can't stand still. So I think that probably she's moving in one direction or the other, and I hope it's forward, because she can't stay in the same, she thinks she's staying in the same place. Oh, I'm not ambitious. I just like my little life that I have. And I'm thinking, well, if you're not going forward in some way, you are going backward. But I suspect she's going forward and doesn't even know it. For example, she was walking with me that day to stay healthy. That's a goal, right? My point here is that we should be striving, and as we strive, we get somewhere. And as we get somewhere, we get happy. And we don't have to wait for the end to be happy. Remember the quote, happiness is a progressive realization of a worthy goal. That is massive. That is magic. That is so beautiful. And it's encouraging because we get happiness along the way. As we're striving, we feel happier and happier because we feel good about ourselves. If there's one thing alcohol, if you're drinking in any way against your will, so whether that means you're drinking more often than you wish to, or you drink more than you wanted to, or drink when you said you weren't going to, that will make you unhappy. Or if you're eating food you said you weren't going to eat, or if you're not exercising when you said you were going to, or you're not doing something you want to be doing, you're going to be unhappy, right? And so the way to feel happiness, and as I said, we all want happiness, is to progressively realize a worthy goal. It's so simple. So I hope you're striving. It's January 5th, and just keep going, because all you're going to feel is happiness. And in fact, it should be kicking in by now. If you've been going for 5 days now on the plan you had, that's enough. Give yourself credit for that, and let's keep going. Tomorrow's day 6, onward and upward. Just keep going, progressively realizing a worthy goal, and you will feel happy along the way. That's beautiful, so beautiful. My gift for you, sending you love. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for popping in. Remember, unshackling happens one day, one moment, one choice at a time. Do me a favor, subscribe, share, and shoot me some feedback. Chat soon.